Okay, hello YouTube, Facebook, and whatnot. This is Blade Junkie, and yeah, this is a video on some awesome stuff. Well, in my opinion, it's awesome. However, light would be necessary first, and so I must turn the lights on because this remote thingy is a failure, or at least mine is. All right. Now let me make myself comfortable now. All right. So, starting with trying anything. I'm seeing a well-oiled chair here. So, this is the latest version of the Epic 4x4. I'm not actually sure if I'm going to go forward with it, but it's just another version of it. So yeah. Yep, so this is the front end. I don't know if that's obvious or not. I would say obviously usually, but I guess it's not really obvious. It is to me, but probably not to you. So, yeah, that's the front end. Still just rear turntable as a suspension, but it works quite nicely. I actually have a turntable on here as like a semi-trailer hitch thingy, which didn't work out quite as well as I hoped. But anyway, yeah, so that's how that works. Pretty much the same as it was, just with an extra little back plate. Tube frame still, but I'm actually utilizing the tube frame, as you can see here. 8878 battery box, medium motor here. This is used for steering. This is all the steering gears and junk that go up into the front under here and steer the vehicle. XL motors drive. One for the front, one for the rear. Pretty simple. So, yeah, awesome. Pause my music here for a moment. Alright. You can see it's just got these mock-up headlight things. They're not actually planned to be anything. So, like I said, I don't know if I'm even going to do anything with this. What is that? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so pretty sweet. One receiver, standard IR receiver. A standard controller here. Or so I would call it standard. But that's just because it's become standard for me, This is just a slightly modified version of it because I had to take the gear off. I don't know if I ever told you guys that. I'm sure I did, but I don't know. Whatever. This is slightly different because it has this here thingy, which seems stupid because you're not able to see it right now, but when I do that, suddenly you can see it, and it makes sense. And it's not intended to look completely realistic, as you can tell by the fact that the pistons are in the wrong place. Opposite sides, but it's a little V8 sort of thing, or dual inline V4s, or dual inline 4s, whatever you want to call it, with a little belt thing in there, and that actually does give it its rotation, or whatever you want to call it. That's what makes it move. But turn it on here. This is a temporary thing. It only does this if it's moving, or at least if the motors are running. But you can see that quite quick. And that's awesome. So let me see. There's not really a good way to get a view on this, is there? So, they're kind of, I guess, maybe moving quite speedy right there. Backward, forward, all that good stuff. With a closing hood, bonnet, if you will. Whatever you'd like to call it, that's your business, I guess. Not really, it doesn't really matter whose business it is, because it's just what you call it. So anyway, that's this. Currently have my older tires on it, not the Unimog tires, but I suppose Give me some more light down here. Stupid lamps, impossible to work with for me. I don't like them much. Anyway, see if this can be adjusted at all. It would appear as though it cannot be. That's just because of poor placement of cords, though. But whatever. Alrighty then. So the next thing, which is equally awesome, let me turn that off. In my opinion, it's equally awesome. Most recent thing, it was just a really quick build. It's a crappy build, but it's a cool build in my opinion. Wham! New 4-wheel drive vehicle, as probably in the title or description or something like that. With a clutch gear in the steering, 4-wheel drive, and no gearing at all, aside from in the steering. So, turn it on here, and back it up a bit. Still using this remote. Does not turn incredibly tight, but that's okay. It uses a rack and pinion system as well as a lever. See that lever there? That lever moves forward and backward, which causes the wheels to turn. Or rather, yes, I suppose you could say the wheels to turn, rather, but and the rack here, which runs into this motor through some gearing, and this here. Nice convenient clutch gear. So that just pulls it forward, backward, pushes it forward and backward, whatever you'd like to call it. And a single battery box, a switch, which is used as a flop, I guess you could call it, but it just flips the channel, so forward is forward rather than backwards for 2 of the motors, which are the motors on the left side, I think. I could be wrong, it's probably the right side, but I really don't know. Which is stupid because I did build it, but anyway, woo! Quite quick, as you saw there. In fact, so quick that it busted itself apart a bit, which is fine because of one key feature in this. You can see it's incredibly simple, and this is the main thing that holds it together, is right there. So, it's as easy as snapping a couple things together in order to fix it. So, if I could just do that right here, which of course I will make an attempt to, because this is a video and I need to show you guys this. Not really, I need to show myself this. It's for future me, just to demonstrate the stuff that I've made in the past. Not necessarily for you, but for me. So, let's see, and then, probably bored looking at me. This is what I'm doing right now, you can see. So anyway, I really fudged that up, didn't I? Yeah, but anyway, as you could see there are independent motors for each wheel, so each wheel has its own power, or its own motor, rather, not its own power. It's all run on the same battery box, so it's not really a separated thing, but whatever. I just want these cords out of the way. That's one thing I don't like about stuff, cords. They should make wireless motors that bind with one another, but they don't exactly offer that in a lot of things. Heck, they don't offer that in professional RC stuff. They don't offer that in the real world, as far as I know. Anyway, yeah, as I was saying, independent drive. So you can see medium motors all the way around, there and there, for those. That's the front axle. Suppose I should probably just turn it around. Yep. And then, oh, look at that. Well, that's problematic. Let me see if I can do something about that. That's better, I think. Yes, it was better that way. Flip my switch back. Alright, so yeah, then there are the medium motors back there. You can see there's a shock absorber. It doesn't actually do anything. There's no drop shock in it. It's just got really intense ride height. Or not really intense, but much better than anything else that I've made so far. So yeah. But it has absolutely no suspension that way. It's all this way. And all of that is because of the way that I put this together. And I made it this way so that it would be able to do that, because I want it to be able to handle some terrain, so it uses this one link here. This is the one thing that holds it together, is this little center thingy, and that offers a lot of torsion, which is the genre of suspension that this uses. and it's quite decent torsion. But of course it wasn't ever designed to handle that sort of terrain. So if I were to do something, which I will, oh, you can look around, awesome stuff, except for the fact that this is a failure because this camera stinks in a few ways. There we are. Now then, this thing, which is awesome, and I will show you, because I can, it is still incredibly slow. But that's not a problem. At least I don't consider it a problem. Because this is not designed to be fast. It was designed specifically to be slow, actually. But it was also designed to handle a lot of terrain. It is this that I wanted to show you. So, this is what I will show you. Yeah, I forgot to turn it on, didn't I? No, I didn't. I just have a lack of range there. Front wheels, rear wheels. You can see it's quite speedy, but the acceleration is not nearly that good. If I move out of the way here so you can see this. You can see it still handles quite nicely over the small amount of terrain there, which is in part due to the fact that the wheels are huge and that really is what gives it its ride height. But you can see it hits the pillow and loses everything because it has no torque. And that's because, as I said, it was designed to be fast, not strong. And it was just an experiment, sort of. You can see it doesn't have anywhere near enough torque to do that either. So quite pitiful that, but it handles quite nicely as far as the terrain goes, and the speed of it, like I said, is not terrible at all. Thanks to having those motors direct. So yeah, just I don't know why I did this. Like I said, it was mostly an experiment, but it happened to work out quite nicely for me in the end. Because now I've experimented with a lot of things, and this is one of them. And I'd say, considering it took me about an hour to build, and I don't plan my things much as far as this goes. Like, I plan out like how it'll work generally, but then I just slap it together with a bunch of random looking parts, and then, well, not random looking parts. I can recognize all the parts quite easily, but you know how it goes if you're a Lego builder. Which some of you are not. But if you're not, I suggest you get into it, because considering how limited your number of parts are, you get a lot of things you can do with it. And it's just really cool. So, you know, well, and it just gives you an idea for concepts for things that you could actually build. Like, you could build your own radio-controlled crawler and give independent drive to each wheel based on this concept, which I'm not the first to use it, but, you know, it's cool. Anyway, yeah, so that's all I wanted to show you guys, because I thought it was kind of cool. So, there it is. There's the remote. And, I guess that will be the end of this video. Sorry I've bored you yet again. So, yeah, I guess this is Lay Junkie. Signing off. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe.